Business Blueprint, simplifying your success.
All right, well, it's now my pleasure to welcome our first speaker for this conference, and what an amazing person that we have for you. His name is Justin Herald. I'm guessing most of you would have heard the story and how he built an incredible business, starting at the age of 25 with just $50, and he turned that into a company that produced over $20 million in turnover. It was called Attitude, and he licensed that internationally and achieved massive success. He also, in 2005, can you believe this, won the International Entrepreneur of the Year Award. The International Entrepreneur of the Year Award, which is obviously a major deal. Some of you might want to put that on your dreams list. And he also has written for a number of different business publications and has a readership of over 5.5 million people that absorb his messages throughout Australia and around the world, having achieved the success and reputation that he has. On his website, justinherald.com, he now gets over 30,000 hits per day. He's the author of 8 best-selling books, and he personally mentors over 100 business owners each year. And he's regarded as one of Australia's most sought-after speakers, does engagements all across the country, works with major brands like McDonald's and many, many others, and speaks to over 150,000 people every single year. So a huge background and success and achievement. So we're lucky to have him here for the next 3 days. We'll be doing 2 sessions for us, and this is going to be the first. Let's give him a huge Blueprint welcome. Let's put our hands together for Justin Herald, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I always find it funny when people standing ovation before a speaker starts, because I could suck. But I already feel unreal because he stood up. Look, anyone ever seen the Muppets? Remember the 2 old farts that sat up the top that didn't like anyone? Probably somewhere like this. Well, every time I speak, there's always 2 old fart Muppets in the audience, probably not here, but they just don't like me. Just so you know, I don't care. But in case you are one of those Muppets and you're thinking to yourself, well, what's your business credentials? Why are you on stage and not me? Hear it all the time. I'll give you my business credentials right from the start, so we can start from that perspective. Is that okay? I've never done a profit and loss, never done a forecast, never done a budget, never borrowed money, and the only thing I passed in school was recess. So that's my business credentials, right? But what I did do, and it's nice to be around people who did you notice that this boat's swaying? I didn't notice it until I stood up. It's nice to be around people who are like-minded. So what I'm going to do today is come from my perspective on how I did what I did. There's a lot of walk-away information and take-home information on how you can apply this to your business. The way that I work, not only from a speaking perspective, but also with my clients, is I'm going to teach you on how to grow a business without spending any money. I'm a big fan. I'm in business, and the businesses are the things that I do to get the stuff that I want. So the stuff that I want is the most important thing. That just means I need to do my business well to get the stuff that I want. I'm going through a Harley phase at this point in time in my life. I'm trying out this midlife crisis before I get there to see if it's going to be any good, and then I'll really hit it with a big crack. So I'm going to tell you the attitude story. Now, there's so many reasons why people decide to go in business. There's no right or wrong reason. Your reason's your reason, right? Some people go into business because they want a better lifestyle. Some people go into the business, which I don't understand this one, they want to be the master of their own destiny, whatever that is. I sat next to a numbnut on a plane recently. I hate sitting next to people on planes for one reason. If they're stupid, you're stuck with them, right? I'm not sure if anyone else has ever gone through this. So I sat down and I was on the front cover of the Voyeur magazine at this particular time. I was doing a corporate job recently, and a lady thought that the Voyeur magazine was a magazine about people to look through people's windows. I'm in that one too, but anyway, the Virgin magazine. So I sit down and the guy sits next to me and goes, I know who you are. Well, I said, well, that's good to know. And he said, I'm a businessman too. And I said, well, that's fantastic. He said, why did you start your business? And he said, I just wanted some spare time. I'm thinking, you're an idiot. We didn't talk much after that. But anyway, your reason for being in business is entirely your reason. Never let anyone say, well, that's pretty stupid for doing that. it doesn't matter. There's a lot of oxygen thieves out there. I'm not sure if anyone's ever come across them. People have got this great opinion, but they suck in their own life. So whatever you want to do, just do it with your best. For me, business was a thing that I didn't think that I was in, and I'm going to prove that and show you that. When you start a business, well, why you start a business is entirely up to you. For me, and I know this is going to shock a lot of people, well, actually, no, it probably won't. But my father is a minister, which I know you're thinking that, because I look so angelic. But my dad, when I was younger, was the head of the whole religion when I was growing up, which I've got no dramas with being in that whole thing. But the problem with being a minister's kid is there's always someone in the church that tells you how to live your life. And I've got that rare disease where I speak before I think. So when I was younger, people would say to me, Justin, you've got this problem in your life. And I'd go, well, you really suck in your own life. I'm not sure why you're telling me what to do. Which apparently you shouldn't say that to ministers' wives, I've learnt. But anyway, I was 1995, I was 25 years old. A lady came up to me and said, Justin, you've got an attitude problem. I said, no, I don't. She said, you answer everyone back. I said, well, no, I don't. And she said, until you stop doing that, you're going to end up in a scrap heap of life. The only reason I decided to start a business was wholly and solely, purely to upset this lady in my dad's church. That was my business plan. No more, no less. I didn't know, I'm not sure if anyone else in this room has also fallen into business where you decided to start something just because you just thought, no, that'd be a good idea. And then it turns into something, so which I actually quite like. So as we know, when you start a business, you've got to do research. So I went and did my financial research, which I went to the local ATM machine, I put my key card in it, and at age 25, I had $1.25 in the bank. So you can't upset someone with $1.25. So I rang up my little brother Dean and said, Dean, I need to borrow some money. He said, why? I said, because I want to piss off so-and-so in Dad's church. He goes, all right, here's $50. So with that, I was filthy rich. Then I went and did my market research. Now, my market research was pretty serious because I had a Mini back in those days, but I had no fuel in the Mini, and I didn't want to use my working capital for fuel, so my parents gave me $5. Now, if you've ever owned a Mini, $5 gets you a very long way, right? So my research was, how far would that get me, and how big is this $5 fuel circumference, and how many printers are going to be in that? There was one. So I rang up Marty. Marty's one of my best mates. We used to do nothing together, and we're really good at it. I said, I'm going to start a business today. And he said, you know how? I said, nah. He said, can I come along and watch then? I said, come along and watch. So we went out. So I walked into this printer and I said, g'day mate, I'm choosing you out of every single person in the yellow pages. Which wasn't a lie, I just couldn't afford to go to anyone else. And he said, that's fantastic. And I said, I'm thinking the same thing. And he asked me a question I wasn't expecting. He said, well, how much money do you have? I said, well, I got $50. He said, well, you need $680 for the setup just to start. And I said, well, if I had $680, I just would have said to you, mate, I have $680. But as I just said to you, mate, I have $50. Can we just have the $50 conversation, not the $680 conversation, please? And he said, but I can't do it. I said, but you're missing the opportunity. And he said, what opportunity? I said, to make $50. It's a pretty simple conversation at this point in time. In the end, he said, I'll do it, but never tell anyone. And I remember saying to him back then, who is ever going to listen to me speak anyway? So we just won't tell him. Attitude started off as a slogan t-shirt brand. Slogans such as, it's all about luck, just ask any loser. I don't have an attitude problem, you have a perception problem. My personal favourite, sarcasm is just another service I provide. So I sold 3 of those shirts to 3 of my mates. One of them was my brother. And Dean said, I just gave you $50, why do I have to pay you $20 for a shirt? I said, because I'm a businessman, Dean, this is how it works. So I got 4 shirts made up. We all went to church the following Sunday, we all walked in at the same time, we all had the same t-shirt on, and we all sat on the front row, and this lady walked in and she was ticked. It's the best $50 I've ever spent in my entire life, right? Now, I wasn't expecting much from that. You know the one thing, I'm a little bit different, I'm not saying the opposite is wrong, but I think sometimes people aim too far out when it comes to goal setting, right? I've never done a 5-year goal, 2-year goal, 1-year goal. No, I just have a 1-day goal, and that's results. I want results. So if I do results every day, there's 365 days worth of results. Because my focus is on the stuff, or the stuff outside of my business, that's my focus. What I do inside my business just gets me, are we following where I'm going here? That's the way my head works, because I just, if I had to write something down, I'd lose the piece of paper anyway. So anyway, I wasn't really expecting anything from that. I just wanted to upset the lady and come up with another idea the following Sunday to upset her even more. But on that day, people come up and said 2 things I wasn't expecting. Number 1, really like your t-shirt. I said, oh, thank you. Number 2, can I buy one? I hadn't thought that far ahead. I said, I suppose you can. And the only time I'll talk about the figures and how the business went is now, just to show you where we went, and we'll get back to here. I'm a very big believer in growing a business organically. There's a natural progression to every business. It can naturally go well, or it can naturally go not well. We've got to figure out what that natural thing is before we can go and work on it, if that makes sense. I think too many people put their hands on things before they know where it's going to go. So I sold I made 3 shirts, or sold 3 shirts to my mates. Those I could sell, and because I'm very big on every time you sell one thing, you've got at least to be able to make 2 more. So I sold those 3 shirts. Then I could go make 6 shirts. Sold those 6, could make 12, 24, 48, 96, need a calculator after that. But that's the way that the business grew. My first year's turnover, $50 startup. The first year was $980,000. Second year, $2.5 million, $5.5 million, $12.5 million, $22.5 million. The last year of the business was $37.5 million. So it sort of went okay. The good thing, though, about $37 million, besides the cars, I love cars, but besides the cars, and most women say to me, I don't get the car thing, I don't get the shoe thing. But, so besides the cars, right, it became an international brand. So now, wherever that lady goes on holidays throughout the world, I'm pissing her off globally now. It's fantastic. World domination. So, anyway, I'll get back to this day. So I started, because I didn't know what I was doing, and there might be some people, maybe not, there might be some people in this room who go, I think I'm doing it the right way, I don't know if I'm doing it the right way. Suck and see. I think that's the way the business goes. But I started to sell to my friends, and friends of my friends, and mates of friends of my mates, and my friends, and my mates, and my friends, and friends of friends. And then after a while, I ran out of people that liked me. So I thought, well, I can't really sell to the people that don't. And then I had a brilliant idea, because I'm an ideas man. I thought, hang on, there's shops out there that sell clothing. And I have clothing. I need to go and see these people. So I did. And this is the conversation I had with the first shop that I ever went to. It was in Sydney. I walked in. I said to the guy, "G'day, I'm from Attitude." He goes, "I've never heard of it." I said, "Well, you wouldn't have, because I haven't told you about it yet." He goes, "Well, no one's asking for it." I said, "Why would they ask for something they haven't heard of? And if now they had heard of it, you still haven't heard of it. So if they ask you about it, you haven't heard of it, what they're talking about. So how about I tell you, at least you've heard of it." And he goes, "Well, there's no demand." I said, "There's no demand because no one's freaking asking for it, mate. No one's asking for it because you're not even going to let me tell you about it. So how about I tell you about it?" And you're going to go, "Oh, yeah, that might be a bad idea. Let me go put a little bit up the back. Right where no one can find it, I'm going to put it in my shop." And then one day someone's going to come into your store and say, "Excuse me, do you have anything new I've never heard of before?" And you're going to go, "Oh, yes, right at the back of my store." You're going to go and show those people. And they're going to go, "I love that. Can I buy one?" And you, as the business owner, are going to go, "Cha-ching, yes, you can." They're going to wear it to their mate's barbecue probably 2 weeks later, and the mates are going to go, "Love that shirt. Where'd you get that one from?" And they're going to say, "From your shirt store." So probably another 2 weeks after that, they're going to come into your store and say, "My mate bought a shirt from you a couple of weeks ago. Can I buy the same sort of one?" Which is what we call demand, but we can't get to demand because you're an idiot. You won't let me tell you about it. You know what he said to me? "When there's demand, come back and see me." Has anyone ever met a stupid person? You might have customers or clients like that, right? Now, it's illegal to hit them now. We're not allowed to hit them anymore. But this next thing is the number one thing that people email me and go, "You know what? That really works." So, the next time you're in front of a numbnut person that's just doing your head in your head, give them a mental headbutt. It's going to make you feel so much better. You can virtually break their nose and they have no idea. You walk away all happy. So, I left that store all dejected, right? I was doing, remember Muttley? Doing that, having this whole pity party. I know none of you have. I rock at pity parties. I love having, I still do it to this day. Anyway, I get back to my car and I had an epiphany. Now, I don't know how to spell it, but I do know I had one. Up until that point, I was listening to every single person around me tell me what I should be doing in my business. Anyone have people like that around you? Don't they suck? So anyway, which are all my friends. And I figured out at that minute, they're all on the dole. They don't know what they're talking about. So I decided from that day and that day on, and I've never gone away from this. Nothing that I'm going to say today is, as Oprah says, is going to be an aha moment. Everything I believe when it comes to success is common sense. The problem is I think a lot of us we tend to overcomplicate it because we think it's supposed to be hard. I don't think it is hard. But I decided from that day that I'm going to run my business one way and one way only. Never gone away from this. And that was wholly and solely through my personality. Now, if you don't have a personality, we are selling them at the back of the room on the way out. 2 for the price of 1 today. Cruise special. So Because what makes you you is what's going to attract people to you. What you sell is secondary. You could be the best person under the sun. People will be attracted to that. They'll believe you a lot more. You could have the best product under the sun and be a narky person. You're not going to last very long. So people are attracted to people. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to be me. And the me that I am, this is the thing that shocks most people. I am not a serious person. I know. Shocked. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have fun doing this whole business thing. Because if it works, I've had fun. If it doesn't work, I've had fun. I'm all about having fun. So I thought, all right. Ring up 4 of my mates when I'm sitting in the car park of this surf store. I said, I need you guys to come over tonight. They said, why? I'm having a board meeting because I'm a businessman. They come over that night. They said, what's up? I said, one of you to ring this surf store once a week, and this is all I want you to say. Week 1, ring, ring. Hello, do you have any attitude gear? No, we don't. Week 2, hello, do you have any attitude gear? No, not yet. Hello. Week 3, hello, do you have any attitude gear? No, but a few people have been asking for that brand. Really? Week 4, do you have any attitude gear? And the guy goes, no, we're waiting for the rep to come back in because there's such a demand for his brand. No demand, just me and my 4 mates ringing up the same guy, really. You know what? If you want to sell to someone, the best thing to do is not talk. What they say will tell you how to sell to them. Because I didn't hear this guy say, I don't like it. I heard him say, no one's asking for it. So I thought, I'll just get people to ask for it then. To me, that's common sense. So the following week, I went in to this store. Now, I didn't know, but 2 brothers owned the surf store. So luckily for me, the second brother was there this time. So I walked in, had all my stuff in my bag and everything, put it down. I said, I'm from this brand you probably never heard of. And he goes, what's it called? So, Attitude. He goes, stop. He goes, everyone is asking for your brand right now. Just me and my 4 mates. Put an order in. It was $1,587. It was time for financial retirement back in those days for me, right? Sold out, though, in 2 weeks. Isn't it frustrating? Because you're allowed to be frustrated with this next bit. On when you know you've got something and you've got to prove it to people who wouldn't know how to get dressed most mornings. And does anyone else get frustrated with that? I've got something here. But I already knew I sort of had something in a funny type of way because of my mates just jumping all over it. And so, anyway, it sold out. I tried to get it in a few more stores and I had a bit of success, but still the no one's asking for it thing going on. So I thought, you know what, I am very big on strategic quitting. Not everything is going to work. So there's got to be a certain point of time where you go, you know what, I'm out, because I can put stuff into something new. So I wanted to figure out if this was going to work or not going to work. So I knew the retailer was an idiot, but I wanted to see if the consumer liked my product. Because if they didn't like my product, well, I'm sort of stuffed. This is called research. I know it's deep. So I decided to go to a place in Sydney called Parklea Markets. You ever heard of Parklea Markets? I love it how we do this in Australia. It's the largest markets in the Southern Hemisphere. There's nothing else in the Southern Hemisphere. Not that hard, really. So anyway, I rang up Marty. I said, do you want to come? He goes, nah. I said, I'll pay $100 a day if you do. And he goes, I'd love to come and support your dream, Justin. So we went out. Now, I didn't know what I was doing. So what they provided you back in those days was a trestle table. That was it. No girly cloths over the top, just a trestle table. So Marty goes, what do we do? I said, I don't know, just chuck the shirts in there, I suppose. So we just pulled the boxes out, just box upon box upon box. It wasn't in sizes, it wasn't in styles, it was just a big pile on this table. We pinned up a few of the slogans behind us. 9 o'clock, basically, people start coming in. 9:15, sold out. Lines and lines and lines of people. And halfway through the selling frenzy, Marty turns to me and goes, I think they think we're someone else. I said, I don't care. Shocked the living daylights out of me. You know, the one person you need to impress on a daily basis is not your competitors, it's not your staff, it's not your customers, it's yourself. You've got to sit there and go, oh, crap, didn't know I could do that. That means you're actually operating outside of your comfort zone. The only way you will grow your comfort zone is when you're out of it, not when you're in it. And I think we need to shock ourselves more often, really. That's why, for me, I don't do that. I'm not saying don't do it, but for me, I don't do business plans because I just want to go, oh, crap, that worked, or oh, crap, that didn't work. Not everything works. It took off in the markets, big time. Just sometimes right time, right product. I'm not sure. I don't really delve into why did it work. It just worked. And then I'm thinking, you know what? I've been given good advice when I was younger from my parents. My parents were really great parents. And one of the things my father said to us as kids is there's always someone smarter than you in the world. And whatever you're doing, find that smarter person and learn from them, their mistakes, instead of making your own. That's why I'm a very big believer, and this is why this is a great concept, and what Dale's doing is because you're surrounded by like-minded people. You know, iron sharpens iron. So anyway, I'm in the markets and think, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to go and find someone and ask them questions. So there was an old guy opposite us selling T-shirts. I thought, I'm going to go ask him. So I walked over. I said, g'day, you know, I've just started. I'm wondering if I can get some advice. He goes, yeah, but you're destined to fail. Right, that's for you. So this is before anyone had come in and all this sort of stuff. And I said, okay, well, why is that? Thinking he's a smart bloke. He goes, oh, it's a fad. I didn't even know what a fad was. I said, but it's still working. You know, sometimes when some people give you their opinion or advice, well, it's not even advice really, and it goes against what is currently going on, you know what that is called? Bad advice, right? Just because they've got an opinion doesn't, everyone, like, opinions are like armpits. Everyone has two and they stink, right? Just because they have an opinion doesn't mean anything. So you've got to be very careful what you let inside your head. And then he goes, but it's too quiet in here anyway. Now that didn't go with what we were doing. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't think you've got a clue. But as people started to walk in, and I said, well, here comes some people. Let's see how we go. He goes, I wouldn't serve them. I said, well, I reckon I know why you're quiet then. Thinking he's a smart bloke, I said, why wouldn't you serve them? He goes, I've got no shoes on. I said, I'll serve them then. He goes, why would you serve them? I said, because I've got no shoes on. Seems to make sense to me. Anyone ever been to Parklea Markets? You don't get dressed up to go to Parklea Markets, right? So this guy was a tosser. Anyway, but I figured out pretty quickly, and I reckon it's even worse today, the amount of people in business that prejudge their customers or clients based upon how they look, whatever. Like, it costs a lot of money to look like a dag these days. So look, judging the whole dressing thing, but this is something that's very close to my heart. Because never come with me to an airport, because apparently I'm a terrorist. I didn't ask to look this good looking. It's natural. But I get stopped every single time. Recently, oh not recently, a while back now, I was in Qantas and I was checked my bag in. Went to go through the metal detector. Went through the metal detector and the guy says, can I stop you for a random search? I said, it's not random. He goes, it's random. I said, that's not. Anyway, you do the whole thing. Has anyone ever noticed how shocked they are that you've got nothing on you? You're fine. Yes, I am. Went through. Then I get bored. I can't sit still. That's probably the longest I've sat still for a long time before. And so went outside, went for a walk, ended up outside. Went back through the metal detector. Same guy stops me. Can I stop for a random? I said, what do you think I did in the last 5 minutes? He goes, it's random. I said, it's not random. So then my plane was delayed. So I went for another walk. Now in the Sydney Qantas one, there's two ways you can go through the metal detectors, right? So I went, going through the other one. So, went through the other one. Now I've tried everything, right? I've tried looking at the ground, looking in the eyes, getting dressed up, going naked. I've tried everything, right? So I'm looking at the ground this time thinking, oh, I'm just going to get through this. Look up, same guy's there now. And he goes, sir, I said, you're kidding. He goes, do we have a problem? I said, we had a problem the first time you stopped me. I said, can I just ask you a question? Now, do you know, and this is not a joke, it is now illegal to use humour in an airport. I found this out. I said, can I ask you a question? He goes, Mike. I said, have you ever looked at the people who've done bad stuff through an airport? He goes, what's your point? I said, did they look like me? He goes, what's your point? I said, bald head, goatee, tattoos, standing out like everything. I said, no. They look like normal people that you're letting go past at this point in time because you're waiting for the bald-headed peckerhead to keep coming up the line. I got taken to a room. And for 40 minutes, I was given a lecture on the dangers of using humour in an airport. Now, you sit there for 40 minutes without smiling through that one. So anyway, so for me, if you've got a hand or a pocket, you can be a customer. I don't care what you look like. I think this prejudging thing is stupid and it's archaic, but it's worse than ever before. So, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do, and I'm not a big fan of looking at your competitors to see what they do. I'm not a big fan of that at all. But at this time, I didn't know what I was doing. I said, you know what, I'm going to do the absolute opposite to what you're doing. I'm going to talk more about this on Sunday. Don't know what day it is. Monday, thank you, on the customer side of things. But what we need to do with every single one of our customers is entertain them. When was the last time you went somewhere, even retail, and you were entertained? Most times, it's like you're stolen their lunch money, basically, when you turn up. and you're interrupting their day. So we decided that we're going to entertain everyone, because what that does, and engage with them, what that does in the buying process, it puts a new part of a new piece of the puzzle into there. Because they could have left my stand, and gone to another t-shirt stand, not the same one because there's only me, but now there's another thing in that equation, which is entertainment, engagement, whatever it is. So they could find a cheaper t-shirt, but have a narky person on the other side, and they'll go, you know what, I actually like that guy better. Wasn't the product then. So what we've got to do in all of our businesses, I don't care what business you have, you've got to put yourself or personality as the first thing that they remember. Product second. So it took off in the markets. I had people coming up all the time, and we got to start listening to our customers. People will come up and say, Justin, I love your stuff, but I can't find it anywhere but here. And I say to them, look, you won't find it in sports stores, I'm not a sports brand. You won't find it in surf stores, I'm not a surf brand. You won't find it in Australia-only stores because I'm not an American brand. You won't find me anywhere, really. But I say to them, listen, would you mind doing me a favour? Your customers will do you a favour, clients, whatever you want to call them. You know why most people don't, and why most of them don't? You've never asked them to. And if they like you as the person, they'll do anything for you. I can prove this. It's now called Facebook. Your friends will share what stuff they want if they like you, if they want to help you. Product second. We're getting where I'm going with this whole thing? So, and I'd say to them, could you do me a favour? Can you take some of my... I'm going to have to go really fast now because I've got to go really fast. So, strap in. So, I say, can you do me a favour? Can you take some of my business cards? And the next time you're in a surf sport, whatever store that you think that my brand's going to be good for, could you give the owner of the store my card and just say, listen, I work for this brand, which you've never heard of, called Attitude. I'm on holidays right now, so I've got no stock with me, but it would be perfect for your store. So if can I either get the head office to ring you, or would you mind ringing the head office and get one of their reps to come out and see you? I was the guy they were ringing. I was the guy going to go and see them. I was the guy going to come back and pack the boxes. And I was the guy going to ring them up in an American accent from the accounts department. I was a one-man band. But on average, every single week, I pick up between 15 to 25 stores purely based upon my customer going out there to grow my business. Your customers should be your biggest salespeople. If they're not, you're doing something wrong. And I can give you a guarantee I know what you're doing wrong. You're putting product before person or personality. My business took off. And I'm sitting in my garage one day. My phone rings. And the lady on the phone said, hello, it's the Alan Jones radio show. Now, I got really excited because the only Alan Jones I knew of then was the Formula One motor car racing driver. And I love cars. And I'm thinking, this is sweet. I'm going on a drive. She said, not him. I said, who's Alan Jones? She said, you don't know? I said, do you know who Justin Herald is? She goes, not really. I said, well, we're even then, aren't we? I was only 25 at this stage, and so when you were 25 back those days, you didn't listen to talkback radio. But you know how I know I'm getting old? You know what I listen to now? Talkback radio. And carry a hanky. It's all downhill from here. I get in trouble for carrying a hanky. But anyway, she told me who he was. I said, oh, people listen to talkback radio. She goes, oh, yeah, it's very popular. I said, oh, not really if I don't listen to it. So anyway, she goes, he wants you to come in to do an interview on how you started your business. Why? Someone that I served in the markets knew someone else, and knew someone else, and knew someone else, and knew Alan Jones. 6 degrees of separation, they called that then. It's now 3 degrees of separation. This funny new thing called Facebook. There's some people in here that are on my Facebook. You'll understand how I use my Facebook. I'm very conversational in it, and I actually include a lot of my, not personal life, but my personal life in the thing. Because for me, people see me speak, want to get to know me more, and I talk a lot about my stuff or my personal life when I'm talking, so why not include that as well? And I grow a lot of businesses through Facebook. But what the hell was I talking about before all of that? Oh, Alan Jones. Getting old. Yeah. Oh, and that's what I should have done. So anyway, she goes, he wants you to come in tomorrow to do an interview in the studio. I said, well, I can't tomorrow because I was flying to Brisbane that following day to launch my brand. She said, well, no one really says no to Alan. I said, oh. I said, can you just let him know? No. Now, if he rung today, I'd drop my bundle, but I had no clue who the guy was. About 10 minutes later, she rings up, she goes, he's agreed to do it over the phone. Good on you, Alan. Whoop-de-doo. So the following morning, it went something like this. The 7:10, the interview came in over the phone. It went something like this. Blah, 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 $50, blah, 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 $50. You're a legend, $50. Now, got off the phone and my sister-in-law said, how was that? I said, oh, no, I kept on talking about this whole $50 thing. Like, for me, it was no big deal. Because when you're 25 and you've got $1.25 in the bank, you don't tell anyone because it doesn't assist you in picking up chicks, right? So you keep that on the down low. Where the media thought it was fantastic. Anyway, got off the phone, started to eat breakfast. My phone rings about 10 minutes later. I said, hello. The lady said, hello, it's a current affair. Now, when a current affair ring you, you crap yourself. I didn't touch her. Because, you know, back in those days, now they just do it on butter, but back in those days, the only stories they sort of did was on Dodgy Brothers sort of things. I'm going, I'm not dodgy. They said, no, we just heard you on Alan Jones. And I stupidly said, oh, do people listen to him? Yes, they did. So they said, we want to do an interview with you. I said, okay. Like, for me, you'll be surprised, and this is where I love working with my clients when it comes to getting media attention. What you think is just, that's what the media go, wow. And I bet you, if you said the same thing to the person next to you about, oh, this is how I started, or this is why I do what I do, because we're involved in our life, they'll go, wow. So you've got to find the sizzle, not the sausage. That's essentially what we're trying to be doing. But the night that it went on air on a current affair, in the first 30 minutes of it going on air, 187 stores rang me to put my brand into their store. And that was the day I decided I was never going to spend a single cent on advertising, and I never have. I use, some people say manipulate, tomato, the media to grow my business. Now, there's one valuable website which you may already know of, but if you don't, write this down. It's called sourcebottle.com.au, S-O-U-R-C-E. That's for now, because the media are lazy. You can register for free, and twice a day, in whatever category you choose, you'll get emails with a whole list of all media outlets and magazines, blogs, whatever, looking to interview people on certain subjects. And you email straight to the journalist direct. It's a great thing. I'm big on getting media attention for you. Like, you have a look at, you put an ad in a magazine, cost you a fortune. I'm not sure how many people have ever read ads in magazines. I haven't. Or you go on a current affair for 3.5 minutes with 3.5 million people. Which one would you do for free? So, brand took off. I'm sitting in my garage one day. Now, before I tell you about that, we've always, my friends and I, we decided back when we were about 17 over a cup of tea, that we never wanted to grow up. Have you ever met those people? Because we had the whole conversation, I'm not sure if anyone else has ever done this. What would ever happen when we get older, we made money? So we decided back then, that if that happened, we'll just be stupid. We never wanted to grow up. Have you ever met those people that, you know, they were the life of the party and then it became a businessman? And you go, what the hell happened to you? So we just play practical jokes. I'll give you one practical joke. The largest speaking job I've had so far is 30,000 people in America, right? And one big thing. I'm on my way to the airport. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, all was happy and gay. You know when you're in that bulletproof mood? Like, even whistling. So, driving down the freeway. Phone rings, and the guy with an American accent said, is that Justin Herald? I said, yes, it is. He goes, it's such and such people I was speaking for. I said, oh, I'm so excited. He goes, look, we've done a survey last night. No one really wants to hear anything you had to say, so we decided to cancel your flight, and maybe next year's better for us. I was no longer happy and gay. I'm thinking, you don't do that. And now, I had to find the phone number in my car of the company over here to book me to speak over there. Have you ever done the angry dial? You know when you put your finger through the phone? Don't you know who I am? About to hit the last number. I said, hello. So all my mates sitting around a speakerphone going, sucked in. Because they had another one of my mates in a car next to me, which I didn't know was him because he had an Avis rental car. We go to some extremes with our stupidity. On the phone the whole time going, ring him back now. So they're all trying to get me, because I got my brother a doozy. I can't go into it, I don't have the time, but I got my brother an absolute doozy where I got 30 tonne of sand delivered to one of his jobs after he finished it and dumped in the front yard of a thing. But so I'm the king. So we just play dumb jokes. You know, I think, you know, owning a business, I'm not sure if other people, and hopefully you have, owning your own business gives you a lot of freedom. It makes you feel good that you're in charge of stuff, but it gives you that freedom, and I want to have as much time to be stupid or hang with my family or whatever as I possibly can. So anyway, all this media attention's happening, everything's going off. I'm sitting in my garage, which is where I started my business, at home, and the phone rings, and the lady said, hello, it's Phillips. We would love to license your brand. And I said, well, you can get stuffed. Hung up the phone. She rings back. She goes, we must have got cut off. I said, no. I hung up, and here it comes again. See, I thought it was one of my friend's wives trying to suck at me on the phone. It wasn't. She rings back for the third time. She goes, don't hang up the phone. I'm thinking, oh, crap, it's a real person. She goes, why did you hang up the phone? I told her about the practical joke. She goes, that's so funny. I said, yes. She goes, come in, we want to license your brand. I said, no dramas. No, I used to be married to a woman, but I used to be married. And my ex-wife has and still had and still has a disease, which I reckon most women have. Every man's asked me to bring this up, by the way. And that disease is, she just had to know who I was on the phone to all the time. It's freaking annoying. I'm not sure about any other bloke, because you start telling them, they go, well, I don't care. Well, why ask? So anyway, I get off the phone, she goes, who was that? I said, that was Phillips. She said, what do they want? I said, they want to license my brand. She said, what's licensing? I said, I've got absolutely no idea. I want to finish on the whole subject, principle of opportunity. There's a lot of funky words out I'm 43 now, and I'm only starting to figure out there's a lot of words we use, and you just wonder why, or people use it with no real meaning, like focus. What's your focus this year, Justin? Commitment. Have you got commitment? The other one's opportunity. The amount of new clients that sit in front of me, the first thing they say to me when we first start our session is, I'm waiting for the next great opportunity for my business. Nicks me in the head. An opportunity is something you haven't had. So if you haven't had it, how do you know what it looks like when it comes in front of you? I think an opportunity is something you create, or an opportunity is something you look back on and go, that wasn't too bad. But I think if we think that our business is going to go this way, this way, this way, this way, opportunity, this way, opportunity, this way, you're wrong. The biggest things that have ever happened to my business growth are things I go, crap, and this is the first of many. So the following day, I go into the Phillips meeting. Now, I had never been to a meeting before, ever. And I must have been outside the class when they had the how to dress for a meeting thing. So I had a whole conversation with Marty going, what do I wear? And he goes, I don't know. What did they say? I said, well, they saw me on a current affair. He goes, well, wear what you had on a current affair. Not bad. So my first meeting I went to, I had thongs on, holes in my jeans before it was trendy, and an attitude t-shirt. Get to Phillips head office. I walk into Phillips reception, and I'm in boy heaven. Gadgets everywhere. I love buttons. Like in my car, if there's an option for an extra button, it doesn't have to be connected. I just love having buttons everywhere. But TVs, stereos, mobile phones, all over the place. And I went up to the receptionist. I said, hello, she goes, oh, you're the bald man they told me to look out for. Felt like saying, you're really fat. But I didn't. I kept that one internal. She goes, follow me, they're expecting you. So we start walking down, like two elephants fighting on a blanket, but start walking down the corridor. And as we're walking, a guy comes out and he goes, oh, you're here. Sure am. Nice to see ya. Kept walking. Another guy comes out of his office. He goes, I've been dying to meet you. I said, me too. How you going? I'm thinking, is this how we do meetings? I thought we sit and do meetings. Oh, yeah. As we kept walking, I said to this lady, I said, how do they know who I am? And she goes, I don't know. I'm just the receptionist. She was a sour sack of a lady. She'd been sucking on lemons, I reckon, most of her life. You know, if you've got staff that are the face of your business, by that I mean they're the first people that your customers see, get them to have a little smiley session every day. There's nothing worse than wanting to spend money somewhere or wanting to engage in a business and you've got a surly sour sack on the other side. Even though you're not going to be dealing with them, that has a major impact. So anyway, we get to these two double doors. She flings open these double doors. I walk in the world's biggest boardroom with the world's longest boardroom table down the middle and 34 men in suits staring at me. Have you ever been somewhere and you can physically feel yourself leave your comfort zone? The one thing that I love doing this. I'm in my element when I do this. I didn't want to be a speaker. It was one of those things that just happened because of the attitude thing. But the thing that I suck at more so, suck at big time, is idle chit-chat. Like, you know when you get into the lift and there's someone else there that you don't know? I suck at that. Because I don't know what to say. I'll go to say something, my head will go, no. All that. So anyway, first guy comes up and he goes, oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, crap, that's the only one that I had. Next guy comes up, and I'll never forget this. He comes up and he goes, my wife bought me this tie just for our meeting. Really? That's for you, mate. Another guy come up and did the whole handshake where his hand's on top of my hand, which makes him more dominant. Mate, take my leg, mate. I don't really care. So I said hello to everyone. They said, would you like to sit down? I said, yeah. So they sit me down on this side of the table, and they all sat on the other side of the table. And they're straight into this whole thing. There was no, the reason we asked you to come here, none of that, straight into it. So about 5 minutes into it, I thinking, you got the wrong guy. It's got nothing to do with me at all. Should I say something? Probably shouldn't. Wonder what I have for dinner tonight. Tuned out. 45 minutes into the meeting, they said, so what do you think? I said, I don't know, what's it going to cost me? They said, no, we pay you to put your name on our stereos and televisions, and then we give you a royalty for everyone sold. I said, why would you do that? They said, that's licensing. I said, look, I don't understand what licensing is. Then their lawyer said, so you don't understand licensing? I said, I'll say it again very slowly. I don't understand licensing. Now, I can't go into it, I don't have the time, but the most valuable asset that you have in your business is your intellectual property, your business name. People go, I've got my business name covered, I've got it registered, you don't have it covered, you need to trademark it. It's the one thing that is the most valuable thing that you've got to do. You have to trademark your business name. So anyway, they went over it again, and I was listening this time. They get to the end of it, they said, so what do you think? I said, yeah, I'll do that. They said, do you want to think about it? I said, no. Oh, as they're doing it, I said, sorry, can I ask, can I get a free television as part of this deal? They said, sure, yeah, no worries. And they kept on talking. I'm still stuck about this, sure, no worries. I've got a free TV, that's fantastic. Then I'm thinking, that was so easy, I might be able to get something else for free. Can I get a stereo to go on my television? Sure, no worries, this is fantastic. So they get to the end of it. They said, so what do you think? I said, I'll do that. They said, do you want to think about it? I said, no, I'm getting a free TV and free stereo. There's nothing to think about. Then they said, would you like to negotiate? I said, I just thought we did. I've forgotten about the money thing, right? Then they said, well, let's negotiate. I said, okay. They said, what are you doing? I said, well, I don't know, what are you doing? They said, well, you start. I said, I'm not starting, you start. We're not going to start, you start. I said, look, I was happy with the TV and stereo. If you want to pay me, fine. I don't want to start. I would have done it for $1 because I wanted the TV. So anyway, they said, well, we need to have a discussion. I said, I don't care what you need to do. I just don't want to start. Now, I'm in a huge room by myself. I'm expecting to say, would you excuse us, please? No. They all get up and go to the corner. Now I'm at this table entirely by myself. And you can't look in their direction because they've got the group spy looking at you to make sure you're not looking in their direction. And they come back and some people say dumb stuff. They come back and they said, we've had a discussion. I said, I know, I was here the whole time. I've got to tell you, the worst dumb stuff said on television is these sports commentators. The football last year was a perler. Oh, these two teams have turned up to play football tonight. I freaking hope so. Better than chess in the middle of the thing. Anyway, so they get out a piece of paper. They write down this figure. Oh, it does rock a bit over this side. I will stay over here. They write this figure down on the back of this piece of paper, put it face down the world's longest slipperiest board and table, and slip it across. Now, as we know, you've got to be calm and collected in business. I know that. I'm a businessman. I pick up my piece of paper. How you going? Nice day. Beautiful tie. You're kidding me. Now, has anyone ever seen a figure and it's so big, it's just quicker to count the commas? So I'm the king of the dumb question. First dumb question. Is that a full stop or a comma? I said, that's a comma. Ooh, that's not bad. It was a 3-year deal. I said, so this gets paid over the 3 years? They said, no, that's per year. You know, I did look around the room right then thinking, do any of you look like a relative of any of my mates? Because this is a good one, isn't it? Then I asked the dumb question. I said, you know how I'm getting that free TV and free stereo? They said, I said, does it come out of this price at all? They said, no, it's free. So then I did the whole thing. It took forever. It was 4.5 hours in my 1-hour meeting. There's another story that goes forever, but I can't tell it because I don't have time. But got my stereo, got my TV, got everything. A little bloke took it to it wasn't that little, but a guy took it to my car, said goodbye, yep, and you too, mate. Walking back to my car, I did something that most people probably don't do to this day, and I still do it to this day. Can anyone remember the first day you started your business? Anyone? The first client you got? You know, excitement? But now, we're business people. We forget to get excited. See, excitement leads to passion, and passionate people produce. So I get to the side of my car, I've got this check, which was huge. In the back seat of my car, I've got stereo and television going on. And I'm doing the whole... I had no clue what happened, but I'm an outside excitement person. And I look up, and here they all are looking out the window. You know, the reality is most people would not have even gone to that meeting. You know why? Because they didn't know what it was about. Your future success does not have a great deal to do with what you currently know. You know how I can prove that? If it did, you should already be there by now. So there's a lot more stuff we need to learn. I surround myself, I've got 1 million mentors. I surround myself with people who can assist me to get to that next level. Because I know that I don't know everything, and there's always new ways to do stuff. So that's where you've got to, and this is where you've got a great opportunity with all these people in here, a melting pot, I was going to say cesspot, probably not the right word, a melting pot of knowledge that you can help each other with. Sold Attitude about 9 years ago. I was getting bored, I was only working 2 days a year. Because what happened, because as I'm driving away from this Philips thing, I'm thinking, oh, I really like this whole licensing thing. So what else can I license? So I licensed to over 180 odd companies throughout the world. Holden did an Attitude car, and basketballs, you name a product, it had Attitude on it. With over 900 products with those 180 odd companies with Attitude on them throughout the world. And I got between 2 and 22.5% of the turnover of every single product that had Attitude on it. Licensing is really cool. Yeah, sold Attitude, and now I do a myriad of other things. But so that's my story. I'm quite happy whilst we're on the boat. If you want to have a chat about anything, I like chatting with people and helping people in their business and stuff. But before I finish, are there any questions? I have to ask, are there any questions? I know I've just really solved every problem in everyone's life right now. Sorry, you've got to wait for a microphone. Oh, some music. Oh, you've got to turn yourself on.
Well, when you say it like that. You talked about having mentors and they've been very important to you. How do you find mentors?
I source them out.
What, you get a VA or?
No. For me, they've got to have done something that I want to do. And yeah, well, that's about as hard as it gets. And I'll ring them up. Like Harry was my biggest mentor. Harry Van Dyke was the CEO of Philips. And I rang him up when I left. Okay, obviously, you know, I've got no clue what just happened in that meeting, but the check was huge, right? And I said, but obviously you see something in this brand, because the reason I wanted it, number one was for the word, but also for the market share that I had. So instead of them rebranding to get the 18 to 25-year-old market, just use my brand to get into that. I said, so can I ring you and ask you questions? He goes, you can ring me anytime you want. So I did, 3 times a day for 5 years. But you know what, and I won't go into the specifics, when I sold Attitude, I rang him up and we sat down and I gave him quite a substantial percentage of that check because I got in that position because of him. The one thing I think is missing in this world today, old-fashioned word, honour. You know, I am not a believer that anyone should have to help you for free. I don't expect anyone to do anything for me for free. And if there's no cost, there's really a lot of people take that for granted and go, yeah, whatever, Justin, or if I did that with anyone else. So I'm fine with paying for people, but I source them out. Go, okay, well, you know what you're doing. Like Harry, I wanted Harry because he had a big business. He started in Johnson & Johnson as in the warehouse and became CEO of Johnson & Johnson. So he understands corporate. So I wanted him to teach me how to do my business in a corporate structure, but I'm not corporate. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so the essence was you asked, basically.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that's where it's unfortunate, you know, I might get in trouble here from my girlfriend, but waiting for the universe to provide someone right in front of you. I'll be on the balcony tonight. But waiting for, you know, a lot of people go, I'm just going to wait for that person just to come. Well, dumb. Go and find it. Like, if you're hungry, go and get some food. Don't wait for someone to drop it in front of you. So that's where, for me, I go and ask. But the certain areas that I need. But the difference between a coach and a mentor is a coach is someone who's learned something. I'm just generalising. Please don't have a go at me. Where I want a mentor who has done it. And I want to learn from their experience more so than their structural side of things.
Thanks.
Okay, can I just finish on one last thing? And I know this is where the Muppet goes, oh, here he goes. He just wants my money. Doing okay there right now, but I've got a pack here, and this is an opportunity, and this is not a sales spill. If you go to my website, this is, you know, when speakers start doing this, they go, oh, it cost you $400 million, but today I'm doing it for, like, if you go to my website, the true price of this is on my website. So by all means, don't buy it here, go to my website. But if you, what I'm about to show you, go to my website, it does cost you around about $3,500. That's just the price, and people buy it all the time. I want to do something for Dale. I've known Dale for a long time. First book. And I want to, for me, I love helping people. So I've got my entire, what I call my entrepreneur's pack, which is everything about business, how to brand, how to market, how to sell, how to turn an idea into a gold mine, how to be more entrepreneurial, you name it. It's 18 and a half hours worth of audio, all on a USB stick. If you purchase that today, you've got to fill out a form. It's going to cost you $400. That's it. If you do that, how many people would love me to help you in your business at all? Well, if you buy my pack, I'll give you an hour of my time for free. Reason being, it's not a money-making thing for me because my hour's a lot more than $400. I want to make you accountable to the purchase you've made. And for me, the reason I want to help people in business and be successful, pretty simple. The more money you make, the more money you realise you don't need. The more money you realise you don't need, the more people you can go and help. So if all of us, if I can help a lot of people make more money than they need, there's a lot of people who don't make any money that are going to benefit from that. It's my father and me. But if you, all you got to do, we're at the back there, you just fill out a form, we'll send it off to you. You've got an hour of my time, it's one-on-one, not a Justin Herald lookalike, just me, either on the phone or in the hills area where I live, that I can sit down with you in your business and go, okay, well, this is what you need to do. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully it was enjoyable, and I'll see you around the cruise.
Business Blueprint. To access more great content, visit businessblueprint.com.